Yo, what's up YouTube? It's the Frenzy, and today I'm joined here with two DOA players, one of them being QP Derek,
Yo, what's up, guys?
and the other being Rambo for Life.
Hello, everyone.
And today we are here to discuss the Zombies game mode, Dead Ops Arcade 2. And first things first, like one thing that I just want to say is that, man, I am really, really surprised that this game is even coming back. Like, I mean, I can't believe it that Dead Ops Arcade is coming back, and I'm actually really looking forward to Black Ops 3 a whole lot more compared to what I was a few
hmm
weeks ago without knowing that Dead Ops Arcade was even a thing in there. So, knowing that's coming back is, I guess, a good thing for two reasons. One, it's DOA, and hopefully, it's similar to what we remember it being. And another thing is maybe Treyarch is kind of going back to their roots for what they were doing in Black Ops 1, and
Yeah.
they might not kind of focus as heavily on Black Ops 3, with the game mechanics like they did with Black Ops 2. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Were you guys surprised that it was coming back, or you know?
Yeah, Derek, you want to give your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
well, when after the first DOA and it didn't come back in Black Ops 2, it was really I wouldn't say like heartbreaking, but I mean it was like when it didn't come back in Black Ops 2, that's kind of like what got me into regular zombies. Like I wouldn't have got into like what I'm into now without, if DOA didn't come back. So I mean, it's really shocking, when I just to think that after it not being in Black Ops 2, that all of a sudden it is in Black Ops 3. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think, Rambo?
no, I agree. I remember before Black Ops 2 was released in 2012, you and I were talking about the chances, percent-wise, that it would
Mm.
return in Black Ops 2 at the time, and we put some low number on it, like 5% or something,
Yeah.
because it was ridiculous. Nobody liked it. It seemed, and they weren't going to bring it back. And we had a similar feeling this time again, 3 years later, and but they are bringing it back, so it's definitely a good thing.
Well,
Mm.
wasn't Dave King saying something on Twitter that like he was gonna he was trying to make the game, but they just didn't have enough time or something like that before Black Ops 2 came out?
Yeah. I believe like him and Fritz were like messaging privately, messaging on Twitter, or it might have been through email. I know he got his email or something, and then he said that he would have made it, but supposedly didn't have enough time. And then I guess now they had enough time, so here it is.
Yeah, apparently they emailed each other, like he said, so I don't really know if it happened or the
Mm-hmm.
context of it, what were the exact words said, but
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be the case according to Be Like Fritz.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that are watching this on the YouTube video, Dave King is a senior director or programmer, some shit at Treyarch, and then Fritz is a long-term Dead Ops Arcade world record holder. So, those are the names that were mentioned. And I don't know. Anyways, do we want to go to our next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next
Any other thoughts?
topic.
Next
Uh,
topic.
yeah, next topic. But next topic maybe might be pretty interesting. Is the whole leaderboard situation. In Black Ops One, it just was the one leaderboard. I mean, I had score two, but there wasn't like four player, three player, two player, and solo. And I think that's gonna be really exciting. If it does come back. The four player, three player, two player, solo, etc. What those leaderboards are going to be like, and how exciting it's going to be, because I know how exciting it would have been if it was in Black Ops One.
Yeah.
So like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah. I definitely hope that that comes back for all the maps, not just DOA. But yeah, that would have been way cooler if DOA had multiple leaderboards for stuff like that, because it wasn't just like the same map, like, or like the same game whenever you were playing with two players, and then if you played with three players, four players, it was like different in every way, and like the difficulty was drastically increased with the more players that you played with, just because not only is there not enough gold on the map for everybody and like nukes and stuff like that, but the game actually started increasing itself in difficulty by dropping more engineers on the ground, which were
hmm
those big zombies that were much more difficult to kill. and it was just really really chaotic to play with
Mhm.
more people, especially on some of the smaller maps like the one that you guys are
Yeah.
watching right now, which is the crawler arena. But yeah, it would have encouraged a lot more people, I think, to play those 4-player matches. I always like
Mm.
playing 4-player and stuff, but instead, with Black Ops 1, it's nice having just one leaderboard, but the fact that 4-player is sort of regarded as like easier,
Hmm.
on the leaderboards for all the zombies maps just doesn't really make any
You get
sense.
ranked lower, yeah.
Yeah. Like you get ranked lower for, you almost get punished for playing with more players, which doesn't really
Yeah.
make any sense. But
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
that's just my
say,
take on it.
yeah, I was gonna say something similar. And uh, first off, the fact that there's different leaderboards on Black Ops 2, I think is encouraging for that to return in Black Ops 3.
Mm.
Oh
The
yeah.
solo, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. And also, I was gonna say, it also gives players incentive to play solo, unlike Black Ops 1 for DOA,
Oh yeah,
because the
definitely.
people who played solo compared to co-op it was, very small number compared to people who played co-op. So now they have incentive to play it and have their round register in the leaderboards. And also, I think separate leaderboards are good also because, like you said, 4 players are, 4-player 160 is a lot different than 160 solo, if you're playing DOA. So I think
Right.
it's only proper if you have different leaderboards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know that myself. I never liked playing solo on DOA just because it was really no leaderboard or anything for it, and it just, I don't know. I just never really liked it too much, anyways. Regardless, but I definitely would have been more encouraged and enticed to play solo if there was a leaderboard for that stuff. And I'm sure that a lot of other people might have felt the same way. Because on Black Ops 1, they just didn't allow solo for the leaderboards. It was just, co-op piled up on one leaderboard. But,
Mm.
uh, yeah, I mean, do we have anything else that we really want to discuss about this topic? Or do you guys want to move on to something else?
You have anything else, Rambo?
No, it doesn't sound like he does.
No. All right. Yeah.
Oh, sorry
I,
about that.
That's
I was
all
gonna say, I was speaking a bunch with the mic muted, but I was gonna say, I guess we can move on to the next one and talk about the high score leaderboard.
Mm.
And do you think that's gonna be making an appearance because Black Ops 2 didn't have a high score leaderboard, but Black Ops 1 did? So, what are your thoughts on that?
uh,
You want to take it
I,
first, Renzo? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I kind of hope that it comes back, but then again, I'm not sure because Black Ops 2, I think the biggest reason why they didn't have a high score leaderboard for any of theirs is the points would cap out after, a million. So that would be, extremely pointless, of course, to have
Hmm.
a high score leaderboard if everybody was just going to be capped out at a million. But then again, so were a shitload of their other leaderboards like perk strength and stuff. But yeah, let's not really get into that right now. But yeah, I mean, I hope that it does come back though, the high score leaderboard, just because it is one more thing to get your name up on, and I don't really know how they would have that, um, compared to the other zombies maps, because the other zombies maps, of course, you're gonna score far less points, compared to
Hmm.
Dead Ops Arcade. Well, at least the way that it was in Black Ops 1, you would just have no chance. And
Hmm.
yeah, maybe they would just have it for like a one map thing, so that it's like
Hmm.
map based like it was on Black Ops 1. But um, if it is, then yeah, you're gonna definitely see a lot of players trying to, do those score boost games and not necessarily play to get the rounds, just try to play to get, their score up
Hmm.
and stuff, which will be sort of annoying to deal with, but it's
Yeah.
just up to them.
Yeah, I would imagine, it would if they did incorporate a high score leaderboard, it would be, exclusive to the map you're playing.
Hmm.
Mm.
So it'll appear on DOA leaderboards, but on another map, or they would be separate if it was on another map as well.
Mm.
But I mean, yeah, the more stats that are there, the merrier. Even though who gives a rat's ass about perk strength, but it's a nice little thing to have there. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's that.
What I was gonna say is, I think a big reason why they didn't have the score leaderboard on Black Ops 2 is because they had all those separate little leaderboards, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Black Ops 3, they're probably gonna even expand even more, you know, because supposedly it's the biggest game, trying to hype it up like that, you figured they'll have more leaderboards, but to be honest, I mean, it's really hard to say if it's going to be score. I mean, this is what I really think is that it's just DOA is just going to be its own little, separate category, or it'll have
Mm-hmm.
its own, solo, hopefully solo, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player, and then also have its little higher, high score thing too. I mean, that would be ideal.
Well, the
And
the high
yeah,
score would be included, like when you're going on the leaderboards in Black Ops 2, you press, let's say, farm solo,
mm,
and it gives you the stats, your
yeah.
kills, your downs, revives, whatever. It would be there, no? It's not going to be like a separate leaderboard just for score.
I'm just saying, like, I hope it's that way. Not necessarily saying it's gonna be that way. I mean, maybe.
No, I
I
was
mean, do
just
you think?
wondering because
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
like I don't think they're just gonna have a leaderboard just for score, and like if you
well,
do good on DOA, like you're gonna be
here's
rewarded rather
here's
than
the
regular.
thing. The thing about DOA 1, which you notice they put a heavy emphasis on as soon as you touch the game, is once you game over, they rank you. At the end, first place. Gets the highest score. They get to skip the loading screen if they want or
First
whatnot.
place ribbon and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first place ribbon, and they have that. You would think that if they're bringing it back and they do have the score thing, that they're gonna, you would think they would put it back, because I mean, then what's the point of even
Hmm.
having that score thing in the first place? Unless they take that out completely, but which I doubt, which is a big part of DOA. I mean, that's just my thought process on it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, I guess it's interesting to see if the stats are all gonna be the same for like that Officer K2 and let's say another map.
mm.
Uh, like are downs gonna appear on DOA leaderboards? That would be very odd.
Yeah, yeah, but
So something like that is interesting to ponder.
yeah, yeah. This is like a next question I have for you guys is is your zombie rake going to be affected by DOA? I mean, that's also another thing that's been leaked. Like we talked about the achievements
Hmm.
being leaked, but yeah, I mean, there's so many ranks. I mean, is this going to be a way you can get your rank up really quick, or is it just going to be not even part of it? I mean, what do you guys think? How's that going to work?
Did you want to start that, Frenzy?
I guess. Well, I mean, I know that if they're not taking an account for the fact that in DOA you get far more kills and far more points, then that's going to be a huge exploit in the ranking system if they like.
Hmm.
Because I mean, look at Dave
For
King
us at
again.
least, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, Dave King again. The guy that made Dead Ops Arcade. I think that he said something on Twitter about how he was never expecting anybody to even get like past 40. So if people were getting to 160 and getting like teams of 3 were getting 200 plus thousand kills to around 160.
Hmm.
I mean, what does that have to say about zombies and zombies? Like you're just never gonna get 200,000 kills in a game, like unless you actually do get to those extremely high rounds, which are just simply not possible in Black Ops 2, but Black Ops 1, I guess some of the maps were, but you had
Uh-huh.
traps and stuff to account for that stuff and everything, so you just weren't getting solid kills unless it was on something like Moon, I guess. But yeah, it definitely would be a big flaw in the ranking system if it was
Mm.
the same, but I definitely do think that it will apply to the ranking system, but they will do something to kind of make it work out so that
Balance
it's
it.
not
Yeah.
it's
They
not
might.
completely overpowered. Because if if it does work that
Yeah,
way,
definitely. I
then
mean,
yeah, we're gonna be the
ridiculous.
first ones to the highest rank.
You would like it. You'd like it to be balanced, but it's a very difficult thing to balance if you think about it. But
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they don't include it toward your rank because they'll say some BS like, oh, it's arcade zombie co-op, not real zombies.
Mm.
And I mean, I was also gonna mention like they need to get their shit together and with the ranking system. I mean, it was pretty atrocious in Black Ops 2.
Oh
The
yeah.
whole thing and how do you rank up and
Yeah.
whatnot. I mean, the whole thing is just it was a complete flop, but a lot of people seem to like it for some reason.
Yeah.
I think that people mostly liked the emblems and stuff, not the actual ranking system itself. Like, I do
Mm.
know that the ranking system itself was a pretty big, like, it was just not satisfying at all. It was just a joke. Like, I made
Oh yeah.
a second account, and my highest round on it was round 24, and I got the highest ranked shotguns with the blue eyes. So
Yeah.
that didn't really seem
Well,
too
exactly.
rewarding.
It's
Uh,
not rewarding. People get a shotgun. You want to feel good for getting the highest rank, but you ask them, all right, you got a shotgun, but how'd you get it? They can't answer you that question.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just it's not really good.
hmm
How about you, Derek? You have any thoughts on it?
No, you guys pretty much hit most of the key points, but I mean, if it does affect it, I mean, it's like you guys said. I mean, it's gonna be really hard for it to be balanced. But I mean, I would be interested to see, if they do somehow include it, how it exactly works. Is there gonna be like a certain ratio that they expect? Like, I mean, are they gonna keep count of, how many
Well, that's
deaths
another
you
point.
take?
Yeah, like
Maybe it might be maybe it might be based off,
maybe you D
maybe like
rank when you play
lives.
DOA
Yeah.
because you're getting so many damn deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe it might be off like life stolen or something. Who knows? Maybe it's like that could be part of it, or life's
Well,
given. I don't know.
I, I'm not putting that much faith into them. All
Yeah.
right, next topic.
I
Uh,
know.
kill based, time based leaderboards. I mean, this kind of goes and ties into the leaderboards already. Like, what do you think? Like, let's say I get 99 solo, and Derek gets 99 solo. Who's going to be ranked higher? Is it going to be off of kills like Black Ops 2, or is it going to be time based, like Black Ops 1, and also for the rounds themselves?
Yeah.
Would you like to see them kill based or time based?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so again, for those of you guys that don't really play DOA or know too much about DOA, the rounds are actually not kill based at all, like how regular zombies is, first person zombies. Those are kill based, but the DOA rounds are all time based. So there isn't a strict time when the rounds will end, but it's usually like a rough, you could estimate when each round's gonna end. But anyways, I personally think that the person, whoever had the highest kills should probably be higher up on the leaderboards. Like it wasn't Black Ops 2, just because I think time is really a, cheesy way to do it, especially for something like DOA where it's just pretty much all luck dependent on, what place you're going to get on the leaderboards, because there was multiple times where I had gotten around 99 and tried to get rank number 1 back, and I just couldn't get it back because the people that got to round 99, after I did, just simply just got, luckier with the time and stuff. So yeah, I kind of think that that's a little gay in my opinion, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Um, to kind of add on, but like what you said, well, it's like another kind of point actually, but hopefully, like in the first DOA where it was you suicide at the end of 99, and that's how you get your time for 99. Because if you
98.
didn't, or yeah, if you suicide at the end of 98, whatever time you got on 98 would be the time you got 99, and people usually exploited that. See, I mean, I think time wouldn't be that bad if that wasn't the case. So then it ended up being, that was like more controlled, where it would take a little bit more skilled, I guess, to make sure you die at the last, zombies or whatever whenever they stop spawning, rather than, kills. I mean, that can kind of, I don't know. You could just that will I feel like that will influence more people to boost and
Well,
whatnot, and
yeah, you
that's
could
not
exploit that as
really.
well. The
Yeah,
the s- the solution to all of this is just make the leaderboards, go as far as possible, I guess. So then it
yeah,
doesn't
that's
need to
true.
be everybody tied at one thing. But I think
Yeah,
kills would probably be the best way. It's not perfect because, like you said, somebody could just score boost, and some people might get lucky and get more
yeah,
kills or something, a few more kills, whatever
mm,
reason.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the whole 98 or 99 thing, I think they're both very flawed uh, mechanisms for
yeah, yeah.
leaderboards.
Wasn't thinking that those two probably aren't coming back, but also, what I was gonna say about the whole, just about the whole rounds in general being kill based or time based. I mean, personally, I kind of like the format that it is, the whole time base. So you kind of like
Hmm.
have a feeling. Like I always like that, just like starting up your phone or whatever, your timer or your watch, and then like, oh, we're like 3 minutes away from the boss, and then
Yeah,
so you can kind of get ready. Whereas like kill is where you can kind of just like be nuking it more, just to try to get towards the end of the round, and you really don't have a clue, and like, is it going to be balanced? It's just, I'd have more trust in it, if it just was
Yeah,
time based.
time based is fine in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think kill based. I mentioned this before. The kill based can work if they did it correctly, but it would be very difficult to do correctly. So for that reason, I'm perfectly fine with a time based
Yeah.
round.
What about you, Frenzy?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think I pretty much already said that I
Mm.
really wanted
I
to
mean,
say
would you
about that.
prefer like the time based like rounds in general, or the kill based time, like, or the kill based
Oh, okay,
rounds?
for the rounds.
For
Okay.
Yeah,
rounds
just for the rounds.
Uh,
specifically.
well, I mean, yeah, for the leaderboards, I'd prefer kills, but for the rounds, like, I'd probably time based just because,
For time based, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it just, sometimes you'll just get to those rounds where, you'll have no polls and stuff, and later on in the game, like much later, killing the zombies takes
Yeah, that's a
much
good point.
longer, and it's just,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know,
Hmm.
that's going to be pretty difficult whenever you're playing a round that's, so long and everything. So yeah, I definitely think that time based might be the way to go. Just keep it how it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna lead that to a different question, breaking the format here a bit, but the polls and the setups of the polls. So, do you think the polls are making a return? And if so, is it going to be more consistent and you're going to be able to see the polls actually later on in the rounds? And or
Yeah.
is it gonna be inconsistent where you have one poll one round and then the next round you have a poll blocking the side of the map that kills you or something like that? What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. For basically, for those of you guys like that don't know, basically on the first DOA, by the like in the later rounds, like probably around like sometimes you could lose your polls as early as like in the 60s, but
Way before.
maybe,
Yeah,
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 right,
you can
right
lose
around there.
them at like 30
Before that, actually.
even if you're
Kidding?
on like a shitty
30? Oh, I
connection.
mean,
Yeah.
I've never
Well,
seen
if
that,
you're
but
playing with Japanese people,
but
maybe,
anyways,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it felt like the polls, they were based off your connection. I really hope that's not how it is. Like, it would be nice to be able to see like your polls, like if they're on and off. Like, maybe it just had to do with it being an older console and it's just maybe not good for like just too much shit
Yeah.
going on, basically. You know. But
Maybe it's just DOA being made in 4 weeks. That might have a little something to do with it.
maybe, but yeah, I just hopefully that the polls do come back. And I mean, I really liked how it was. How it just was kind of random, and it kind of kept you like on your toes. You're like, oh, what kind of polls are we gonna get this round?
I
Like,
agree.
I really like that. Like, I wouldn't like it, have like a consistent. I think that would make it a little bit more boring. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know. What do you think, Frenzy?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the suspense and stuff, like the mystery of just like, okay, well, and it just kind of adds that unpredictableness that like, DOA had, where it's just, you never really know like what's gonna happen until you get there sometimes. I mean, there's been games where, people could be, stacked to the bone, like going into round, 120 or something, and then still game over just because they didn't know if like the monkeys
Uh-huh.
were gonna be, super strong or something, or what was going on. Same thing with the poles. Like sometimes you could be like stacked completely going into a level where it's like heavily dependent on whether or not you get good poles, and you know sometimes you just straight game over, or you come out crippled.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely like how it's like random. If they made it, so that there's a system behind it, then I wouldn't be too mad about it either. Like, either way wouldn't really, bother me. But yeah, I think that I would prefer the randomness more.
Well, there's a certain someone who thinks the amount of kills you get may determine the amount of pulls on the next round, but we'll leave that for another day. But
Yeah.
I was also going to make one more comment. Derek was saying as early as the 60s. I think that's because you've been playing too many four-bar games, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so the next topic, Room of Fate, what everybody loves to hear.
Yep.
So, what kind of fates would you guys want? Would you want the same fates returning, or maybe a little variety? Um, Also, the idea of multiple room of fates. Would you be on board for that?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, hmm, it's just like the current fates that they have, I think, are just making the game too easy in a way. Like, I think that they have to be, definitely take out the death machine. That's almost like a must because that thing is just way too overpowered as of right now. Because whenever you're like a noob, like whenever you're that DOA player that's just like starting, what's
Mm-hmm.
the easiest fate to use? It's the death machine, of course, because it's just, the easiest way to survive and stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think that yeah, they should make more fates that are sort of similar to like friendship, maybe fortune, but fortune just seemed a little too overpowered. The fact that like the vehicles last twice as long, maybe if they just made it so that it was nerfed a little bit, where it only did
Mm-hmm.
double the time with weapons and stuff instead of vehicles. I don't really know exactly like
Yeah.
what fates I would want, but yeah, double room of fate definitely not. Like one, like even having like one room of fate is way too easy. I mean, let
Definitely.
alone in this gameplay that you guys are watching right here, we're on around 134 with no fates at all. And in case you guys don't know what that is, that's where we just simply don't use any fates. So yeah, that's my take on it. I don't really know if you guys wanted to elaborate or whatever. Feel
Well,
free to go ahead.
like I agree. Like from our standpoints, like why we wouldn't want firepower and whatnot. I mean, if you gotta look from like a general, DOA player standpoint, I mean,
Casual player.
yeah, casual.
Yeah.
Most players, they stop playing like as soon as Black Ops was done. So they really didn't get to that advanced. So, man, having a something like the Death Machine come back, I mean, it's obviously hard to say. I mean, isn't there a Death Machine in Black Ops 3 beta? I can't remember, but who knows? I mean, it even could come back just the Death Machine, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the other fates. I mean, I hope something like Feet comes back just because how fun it was. Just to be able to
Yeah, yeah.
swoop in everywhere. And pull the zombies. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, of
Definitely. I mean,
course.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you want the game to be harder. See, the thing that I hope really is not necessarily that they make like the fates like less like powerful. Like I wouldn't mind if it was like the same type of fates, but just as long as they kind of make it harder throughout the arenas, like so that
Yeah,
it
because if you
doesn't.
make it more difficult than having
Exactly, because
fates
like
that
we
are
talked about this earlier,
easier, not a
if
problem.
they did have say they did have crawlers right before the boss round, I mean,
Right.
and then they had the what's it called, the rooftops, then it would be really hard for no fates to even get past like 80, like in the original
Okay.
DOA.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Okay.
the way the setup is, it's a big
So
it's a
so
big
you're
difference.
suggesting instead of having, okay, so you're suggesting that they keep the room of fate and possibly
Yeah.
even keeping the fates that they currently have,
Hmm.
but making the game more difficult by having, the
Yeah.
zombies get faster or,
Or
earlier
something,
and
yeah,
like,
just like
stronger,
harder arenas,
harder arenas
like
even.
yeah.
The design of the maps and whatnot.
Yeah.
A lot of the maps are designed in a similar way,
Yeah,
where they
Hmm.
exactly.
have
They're all
four doors and a
box.
thing in the
Yep.
middle.
Yep,
So that's a
exactly.
problem. They need to change that.
Well, some are a
And
little bit harder because you can't run through the middle like the engineers, and then obviously crawlers with the statue in the middle and
Yep.
whatnot, and it being a little bit
yeah,
more smaller. But yeah,
well, we'll talk about that later when we talk about arena difficulty. So
yeah.
we'll try to remind ourselves of that. But I was going to give some final thoughts on that topic that we were just discussing. I was going to say a problem I felt with the current Fate setup, other than it's too easy now that we've been playing, put that aside, was the fact that it was very unbalanced for people throughout the history of DOA 1.
Hmm.
If you're playing a two-player game, you're always going to grab feet and firepower. Obviously that progressed after a while, but fortune and friendship are always, they got the shit end of the stick kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's a problem. I'd
Yeah,
like
that's
to
a
see
that's a
more
good point.
balanced. I'd like to see more balanced fates where
Yeah,
everybody has a
because I mean that
equal.
might have ruined some people's experiences, that they didn't get as good a fate as someone else.
Yeah,
It's a
Yep.
good point.
definitely. I mean, you'd like to have four fates that are pretty equal, and you kind of like actually want to think about it. Like, which fate do I want this game? Like, if
Hmm.
I'm gonna play this certain play style, I might want this fate. So I want a little more strategy, in terms
Yeah,
of that.
that's really good. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'd like to see new stuff, obviously, but I don't want them to stray too far away from the original.
Yep.
And one final thing was, I mean, what are those things called? Specialist abilities or whatever for multiplayer.
Yeah.
I don't know all those things because I haven't played the multiplayer much, but I think they might try to incorporate some of that into some sort of fates or special
Mm,
abilities on DOA.
I hope not, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want them to, but I have a feeling they might.
I mean, I'd be happy if I see the classic Room of Fate, and just 4 new fates. I mean, just 4 new original ideas would, no
Yeah,
matter like
definitely.
even if they are kind of OP, but I'd be pretty satisfied if they just kept
Well,
it
that's
like just the
it's
original
very
format.
it's very difficult to uh, think of a new fate that they can make because we're
Yeah.
so acquainted with the fates from DOA one. But
Yeah.
I welcome anything that's new and challenging.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so next topic, anybody?
Yeah. Um, do you guys think, I mean, that they're gonna change, the cap on the lives, equipment, multiplier, etc.
Mm-hmm. Brendan.
What do you guys think?
Well, I kind of don't think that they will, just because the game Dead Ops Arcade was based heavily off of Smash TV. It's like almost like, a copy paste
Mm-hmm.
of Smash TV, except TV is like, 30 years old or something like that, and Dead Ops Arcade is, 5 years
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
old or something. So I believe that in Smash TV, because I have played it before, I think that it capped out at nine lives, and you didn't get nukes or boosts, from what I can remember, but you did get
Yeah.
the
When you picked them up, they used them instantly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. From what I remember.
Yeah, so I think that it will just cap out at 9, just because a 9 is also a, sort of a classical like arcade number. Whenever it comes to
Uh.
like, max stuff, like they didn't put 10s, it was just 9s. So
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that it'll just stay at that, and if it does, then that's cool. But obviously, with the current state of Dead Ops Arcade right now, everybody's looking for a challenge, and even playing something like No Fates for some people isn't even that much of a challenge. So, if they made it even less than 9, great, but if they raise the cap, then that would be kind of like, too easy,
Yeah. But
probably.
yeah, that's one
Mm-hmm.
thing I wanted to like mention. I just really hope that they don't make it like 19 or 20 or some shit. Like make it too easy. I mean, I don't think they will. But I mean, that would just make it like that's just the one thing I hope when DOA 2 comes out, that it doesn't make us get to a point where like, all right, when's this gonna end? I don't want it to be like regular zombies where it's the last person to reset gets the record. Like I hope it's
Mm-hmm.
still like you know
You want to
like
say
order.
about I was able to outskill this guy and beat him by
Yeah,
6 rounds or something.
exactly, and not like play until the game crashes or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I would hate that at least.
I mean, yeah, obviously the game has become very easy for many. So not even 9 is a lot, like you mentioned, but I always felt 9 was it worked out to be a good number for equipment and lives.
Yeah.
So if I guess if it's no reason why they shouldn't bring it back, but you
Mm,
never know what they do.
yeah.
And I was also going to mention, leading off of that, also a question I had was, do you think they're gonna include more like equipment kind of stuff, like instead of maybe replace nukes and boost, or even
Huh.
add more stuff, maybe utilize different buttons in the controller other than the triggers and the analogs? What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Um, I mean, we're so accustomed to, the nuke and the boost. I mean, it's just hard. I hope that it stays. Not necessarily. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did something else besides the nuke and boost. But I mean, I hope it's kind of the same concept. I hope they don't have like where you have like 4 different, power things that you can pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it's not a boost, that it's something like similar to a boost, but not necessarily like looks like the same. And then hopefully
Mm-hmm.
the nuke, might be something a little bit different. But I mean, I don't know. I really like that format. It was a really balanced format. Good way to save yourself and whatnot. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that okay, so one thing that I just thought of, and I think that, it's actually in Smash TV, but anyways, yeah, I hope that they keep it, at the triggers though, like, where it's just two things
Mm.
and they don't go overboard or whatever,
Hmm.
just the two triggers. But one thing that I just kind of thought of was, so nukes are like sort of overpowered in a way. Like actually, yeah, I guess that they're sort of overpowered because compared to boosts, like, why the hell
Yeah.
would you ever want 4 boosts over 3 nukes unless maybe you're on a boss round, maybe then, but even then, it's still sort of like 3 nukes is, you know,
Yeah.
most likely going to be regarded as better. But anyways, yeah, one thing to get rid of the nukes and maybe give yourself a 3-second invincibility ring or something like that around you, so that
Hmm.
you can just barely get out of a corner or something, instead of just
that's
nuking your
interesting.
way out and just killing everything on the map or something like.
Yeah,
I
sort
don't
of like
know.
that star shit they had in EXO or whatever. But
Yeah.
Oh boy.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, have one of those like Super Mario like things come up, and then you're
yeah, yeah.
invincible for like a few
Maybe you can play
seconds.
some music when you get it. Or
Yeah.
activate
Yeah,
it.
that's the new soundtrack for the leaked
Oh.
music.
Yeah.
I came up with another question, surprisingly, related to this as well. Is in Shadows of Evil, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't done much research, but isn't it said that the characters are going to have unique abilities or something in Shadows of
Um,
Evil?
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think supposedly, I think they all have like their special gumballs they can activate. I'm not 100% sure. Like special, they have like they all have their own specialists. So what you think that it might be like that
Uh-huh.
for DOA too?
I was gonna say like maybe they try to do something similar where depending on what color or character you get, whatever they do, like you might have a certain fate or ability or even equipment. Like let's say blue player might have nukes and red player might have something else. Like Frenzy said, the invincibility shield or
And
something.
then
It varies.
yeah, well that'd be it'd be I don't know, because then once you have to, so if the, like say a nuke comes on the ground and you're a blue player, you can't pick it up since only red player can get it, or
Yeah, I guess something like that. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
saying that's what I want, but I was just
yeah. It's a thought, yeah. I don't know.
thinking they might do something like that.
Uh,
So, all right, that's that.
so yeah, we kind of like briefly just mentioned it, but
The music.
yeah, the leaked music. Uh, like recently or not recently, but when the Black Ops 3 beta came out, there were some like files leaked, and the part of those files was like music, like audio files, and
Hmm.
they had some, DOA related music. Like two of the songs actually were directly from DOA. I can't remember the exact arenas. I think one was Cows. I can't
The other one's
remember with
Courtyard.
Courtyard. Yeah,
Courtyard.
the other one was Courtyard. Yeah. Then we had this third, song. I mean, obviously we can't play it right now, but
Yeah, it would get copyright. Yeah.
it would get copyright. But it has this third song, and want to know, what you guys think could possibly be that song. Do you think it's gonna be like maybe it could even be like like the intro to the whole DOA, the loading screen, or could it be like an arena? Just what do you guys think of that?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, it sounds very, very similar to the, not, I mean, I guess not very similar, but, it kind of has that, like, upbeat type, sound in it, where it sort of sounds, you know, like the original DOA starting music, which was also the first map's theme, and then that also goes on to play in the Fish in a Barrel Arena area as well. I think the soundtrack is called like Zombies Don't Surf or something like that. For those of you
Yeah.
guys that might want to listen to it for whatever reason, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounded pretty upbeat, and all the other ones, the soundtrack was actually a pretty good representation of what kind of an arena you were playing on. So if you were playing on something like the crawler arena, it was more of a darker theme song because the map
Yeah.
was more difficult. And then if you got to the boss arena, you sort of had that more of a, I can't really explain every one of these songs,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean they sort of had a different beat to them depending on like the difficulty of the levels and stuff, and that song definitely does not sound dark whatsoever. So I'd have to assume that it's
An intro
a,
or something.
yeah, sort of like an intro or maybe a victory theme that plays after you kill the cosmic silverback or
Oh
something.
yeah, it could be like the the cutscene. I can't
Yeah.
remember them all.
The
Might be
cyber
like
silverback guys, come on.
Cyber
You know
Silverback.
better.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
No,
All right.
but
Well, that's interesting. You know, that's fine. Okay. What I'm more interested is the two soundtracks from Courtyard and Cow Arena.
hmm,
I see
Okay.
there's a few possibilities with those things.
yeah.
First possibility is that those leaks included stuff from previous games, and those soundtracks won't be appearing in Black Ops 3. It was just something that was carried over from previous games in the leaks, and it's not going to be there. The other possibility is that they're remastering those two levels or more,
Hmm,
possibly, which
yeah.
seems odd unless the whole game is a remaster with a futuristic skin or something.
Yeah.
And the final possibility is that they're reusing some old music for new levels, which is very lazy and unlikely.
Well, I mean,
So
they did reuse the same sound for the scavenger and the whatever it's called,
the
unburied.
subwoofer.
Yeah, the subwoofer unburied. So I mean,
There's something else that has that sound as well. I can't think of it right now, but there's something else in Zombies that has that same exact sound.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
use it for
probably.
3 things.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
mean, that's true. I
unbelievable.
mean, it could be a possibility, that they'd use the same two songs for different
I
arenas.
think it's unlikely personally, but obviously I never
I mean,
underestimate Dave, as I say.
yeah. Um, you guys have anything else you want to add about the leaked music
Uh,
or?
I don't
no,
play with
not really.
music. Next.
Oh, I
I
play
don't
with
think.
music. I like some of the music on there.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it originally, but when you're
Yeah.
playing the same arena for hours on end, it's like,
Right.
Mm.
have I
Right.
listened to my own music or nothing at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing
Different.
I forgot to mention before we change topics is that I did like, one thing that did kind of excite me is, it does have that same DOA feel, if that song is used in it, which is,
Right.
it's a good sign, like having that same type, like what if like it was like some kind of like, I don't
Maybe
even know, it was like
maybe
some
in
kind of
Shadows of Evil.
screamo, something like,
Oh
for the
yeah.
intro, you
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Like I could be like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like that, so it'd show me, at least it's showing it's like that same type of arcade feel.
Maybe
Exactly.
it's in on Shadows of Evil, like you activate a radio and it plays some DOA music. That's why those files are there.
That's what it is, yeah.
No, no. Like on Nocturne, Toten, like in Black
Yeah,
Ops
that's
1.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Uh, okay, well, I think that one thing that we should actually discuss that we haven't brought up yet, and it's probably the most important question here is, do you guys think that, so just because it's called Dead Ops Arcade, that doesn't mean that it's going to be the same exact, like, you know, game mechanics as it was in Black Ops
Mhm.
1, and it won't be like the bird's eye view. I mean, hopefully, I mean, that's what I kind of think. Hopefully it will be, but do you
Mhm.
guys think that maybe it might even be a first person thing, or I don't know, like, how do you guys feel
Yeah,
about that?
I'm gonna speak first here, if you don't mind, Derek.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously we all hope it's similar to Dead Ops Arcade 1, but also, like any good sequel should, it provides new gameplay uh, features that add uh, a challenge and increase the enjoyment out of it, of course. But I think they're actually gonna change it in some way. I have a gut feeling. I don't want them to, but I think it's just something they might do to appeal to more people, since I think DOA one wasn't much of a hit with the people. So Derek, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really hope that they keep that old bird's eye view thing. Obviously, us being big fans of the first one. But I mean, one thing that I mean, it wouldn't really bother me too much is if they did for some reason, they put a first person feature in that, you could toggle it, just for, to appeal to more people. But since it would increase the difficulty playing in first person, like as we know with, the first person DOA
Hmm.
mod, it wouldn't really affect the game too much,
Well,
because
yeah,
I mean,
like I agree. I wouldn't mind if they incorporated a first person view just
as long as it
for
has
this,
both. Yeah.
but it needs to be made specifically for a bird eyes view, and then
Can't see
make
me.
a feature for first person. I don't
Yeah.
want them making it as a first person and then somehow changing it to bird eyes view kind of thing.
Yeah,
I want them to design it as
that's
a
a good
bird
point.
eyes view and have it for that, because I mean, if they
Mm.
make it for, if they include first person, it's gonna be shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the truth of it. But
Well, I mean, you would think since it is, Dead Ops Arcade and it's an arcade game that they wouldn't put a first person. Just, considering it is like based off Smash TV. I mean, we assume it's
Hmm.
based off Smash TV. Obviously, it's not really confirmed. I mean,
Well,
obviously, it has
it's
very
definitely
similarities, but
it has ties to that and other games as well
I'm sure,
that
yeah,
follow
Dave
that.
probably played that a lot or something. And
But that it interests me is maybe DOA 2 will be a homage to another arcade game, not Smash TV. Maybe he
mm,
draws from another arcade game that he liked playing and
well,
incorporates the zombies into that kind of arcade world. Like
well,
maybe some sort of yeah,
yeah.
other non Bird Eyes View arcade type of game.
Mm. Well, my thought process on that is if you're going to call it Dead Ops Arcade 2, which we know it's called Dead Ops Arcade 2,
They
you
would
would
keep it the
think,
same.
yeah, you would
Yeah.
think they'd keep it the same. That maybe if it was something like that, like you were saying, that maybe it'd be something else, Ops Arcade. Maybe it'd be
Hmm.
like, who knows? It could be,
Something else. Yeah.
yeah, it could be something else, Ops Arcade. And then you could come up with ideas like that. But I think since it is called Dead Ops Arcade 2, I mean, hopefully it is the same concept, just with
Hmm.
in the future or whatnot with more advanced stuff.
Hmm. With little drones hovering over your head and shooting you.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that, Frenzy?
No, no, I'm good.
Uh,
You're good. All right.
What else do we have? I mean, we're starting to run pretty dry, right?
We
um.
got a little left in the we have a few nukes and boosts left in us.
Okay.
Uh, Arenas and difficulty. We were talking about this short while ago.
Yep.
Like, how would you like to see the maps designed? I brought up the point about how there's a lot of the maps are designed similarly. Wow, I can't even say that right now. How there's 4 doors and 4 spawns and something in the middle. So
Mm.
what do you think about that?
Fred, do you want to take
Uh,
this or you want me?
okay. Well, I mean, I think that whenever you start the game, it's like you were saying, it's really basic. You have 4 doors and usually something in the middle, and then other than that, it's just a square and that's it. But then about the midpoint, there's like yeah, I think it's like 3 or 4 arenas in a row that are all like it's not the same, and I think that yeah, having like maybe a few box maps or something would be not a bad idea, but having almost every single one of your maps as a box map sort of makes it a little dry, and strategies that apply to one of the box maps will most likely apply to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes the game a lot easier whenever each map
Mm.
layout is different. And that's one reason why I liked that Ops Arcade so much and was able to play it for so long, because it wasn't the same. It was a different map, every time you got there. Of course, the difficulty of the game increased as you got higher into the game. But yeah, I think that having more level designs similar to the rooftops and stuff make it
Yep.
a whole lot. It's just more unique and a lot more
Mm.
interesting whenever that happens. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I hope, I personally enjoyed the maps that there was. Like, I always thought it was interesting, the maps that there was, like stairs and whatnot, a little bit more elevation. Cause I don't know, it just like it changes it up then rather than the classic, the courtyard and then the island and I don't know, I hope they have some kind of you know things that change it up like you said that maybe that does increase the difficulty, but also is something we've never seen before. Maybe even
Right.
something uh goes underground or no, I mean hopefully not something technically like that, but I don't know exactly how to
You want some
explain.
wild features in there
Yeah,
that
exactly. But I mean, like,
bring new things.
still want the same concept, like zombies. I mean, what would you guys think? I mean, this is just something to come off the top of my head. What if
Hmm.
zombies came from the ground? I mean, like sort of like they do in regular zombies. Do you think that
Yeah, I
would?
mean, it could be good.
You think?
Obviously, stuff like that could be bad, but obviously, I think if they introduce stuff like that, it adds a new challenge and a variety to uh, distinguishes itself from DOA 1. So
Hmm.
something like that, and zombies coming out of the ground, and of course engineers dropping from the sky, and
Yeah.
sending drones after you here and there, and dogs and some
Well,
martyrs tossed.
I I kind of hope there's nothing that like shoots at us. I don't know.
Yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be kind of lame. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
really
don't
like.
worry, it's Black Ops 3.
It's Black Ops 3, but yeah, it probably will happen. But oh yeah, here's one thing I was thinking. Like I kind of like the barrels. The whole barrel is like falling on you and taking damage. I mean, I thought that was kind of like like a neat type of feature because it
Hmm.
it makes you on your toes a little bit more. You gotta
You
avoid
can't
those barrel
just
hits. Yeah, you
if
can't
you're like
just
camping, you
it
gotta be
changes it
careful.
up. It changes up your strategy, like how you're gonna play. You know, I don't know. I just like
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. That makes you like have to play different each arena.
Speaking of such, how about challenge rounds? What did you guys think about that from the first game? And would you like to see challenge rounds be reoccurring? Like, let's say you get to round, uh, dogs usually appear, they do appear on round 34. So would you like to see them, appear on 74? Let's say if you're playing DOA 1. What do you think about that?
I mean, it would make the game more difficult, but some of the challenge rounds would just be
Be
ridiculous, if like I mean that yeah, I don't really know about that, but like yeah, like it's such a hard thing like to for me to actually say like yes or no, like which one would I really like because while it does make it more difficult, I think that some of the challenge rounds would just be simply far too difficult to
They
actually,
would be
play
beyond
on.
reason to
Yeah,
complain.
just imagine like solo the dog round like third time around.
Yeah, right.
Like
15
playing like
minutes of just
18
straight
minutes of that.
dog.
With,
Like
with
good
no
luck.
fate.
Yeah, good luck. Doing
Yeah,
that, man.
exactly.
Good
So,
luck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there that's a make it a little more balanced, but
Hmm.
I ain't gonna hold my breath with that.
right.
Um, so yeah, we were talking about the rounds, arenas, and difficulty. Another question I had was, do you think there's gonna be like a map, and then you play 4 rounds of it, and then
Yeah.
you keep going, advancing arena to arena, and then you replay the same maps?
Mm.
Or what do you think about that? Are they gonna add new features every time you replay a map, or is every single arena gonna be unique until the end, or some sort of possible end?
Hmm. Well, here's something I just kind of thought of. What if, they changed up? You take the teleporter and say it goes to some random place. What would you guys think of that? Like, I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, like maybe you have like your set and certain, like your fourth, like, or how many is it? You could do 7 arenas, is it? In the boss round? I can't remember exactly, but
What happened? 7 arenas?
or no, how many is
10.
it? 10, 10. I'm sorry. Yeah, say you do 10 arenas, but say like on the 10th arena you do have that boss arena round. But say
Hmm.
in between those other nine,
It
what
changes.
if they
Like you
were
might go from my
randomized? Yeah,
island to prison break to dogs to
yeah. I just
courtyard.
think it was randomized, and it would keep. I think that would be actually a interesting feature.
It
If
would
it.
be a change, but I think it would be flawed because it might be unfair for some people. They might have, like we said, difficult arenas before the boss round, and it kind of hurts them.
Mhm.
So it's a
I
major luck
guess, but I mean,
factor.
it kind of goes both ways. But then again, you have those earlier rounds. Those
Well,
rounds. I
but
don't
I
know.
mean, what if okay, so like I mean this is again like, sort of like a luck thing because what if like you know, one game you play and then you get like a really easy round after a boss round, or a really
Mhm.
easy arena after a boss round, and then, after that, you're all rebuilt and stuff, so then you play on the more difficult rounds, for the following, middle ones, or more difficult arenas for the middle uh, rounds up until just before the boss round. Then you play on the easier arenas, making the boss round significantly more easy than, compared to if you had more difficult rounds before the boss, if that makes any sense, just because that
Yeah.
that's the one round where everybody dies on. Like no elite player really game overs before a boss round anymore. Like, that just hasn't really been a
Hmm.
thing since like 2012 where, gaming over before a boss round was even considered possibly
Mhm.
an acceptable thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's going to be incorporated, and I don't think it's a good seed to plant in Dave's head either. So we need to quickly move into the next topic.
Yeah.
And
Um,
that is, what do we have? How many topics do we have left, anyways? We have.
I think we
We
have
have a
two.
few. All right, the
Oh,
next thing up is bonus rooms and armories.
oh yeah, never mind. Three. Yep.
Everybody's favorites.
All right.
So you think they're going to be making a return? And if they do, would you like them to be random, as we think they are now, or would you like there to be some sort of set pattern?
Huh. Um, what I hope with the bonus rooms and armories. I mean, like I said, I mean this it might be hard to tell, because like we said, we're still in question if our equipment and everything, like, I mean, is it even gonna be like a
Mm-hmm.
armory, or is it gonna be like some kind of like recharge or something of like you're spending, like,
It
who
could be
knows? I
anything.
mean,
We don't
it
know.
could
It
be
could be
anything.
completely. This
I
whole
mean, I
thing could
really
be
hope that a bonus
for
room type
nothing.
thing does come back that does like help your score and whatnot, because I mean that was always like a good feeling, like, oh yeah, like got that bonus room like when you need it, like right before a boss round, or like right when you're like struggling, I really liked it, and
Yeah.
I hope it does stay randomized like it was, and that there is no pattern. I mean, I know people claim to know patterns, but I mean, I've not seen like 100% thing yet, where it's, you know,
Mm.
you know, yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell like what it's gonna be like until we get to see, the very first rounds we play actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally really wanted to crack the code for the bonus room and armory thing and whatever. But yeah, I mean, again, like making it random is always more fun because you just get to those rounds and sometimes it's just like such a relief. Like in this no fake game actually that me, George, and Beast played. It got to a point where on like round 114 at the end of it, George was running pretty low on equipment. He was down to like 4 nukes and 4 boosts, and then out of nowhere we just get this miracle armory, and then bam, he's stacked to the bone again, and we're all like,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yep.
sitting really nice, and then sometimes that could even save your game from what if
Yep.
you get an armory with very little lives and very little equipment. It's just like, oh man, we really needed that. Thank God that happened or something. So I mean that's always really cool, and it makes
Yeah.
the game again a little more mysterious and not as predictable and stuff. So that does in a way make it more fun. But then sometimes it sort of is like, wow, that guy just got lucky or whatever. I don't really like the term lucky because I guess maybe it's just because I never get lucky myself. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just me, but
Who
either way,
who was that one solo player who
uh,
got like some sort of armory on fourth crawlers? Like was it Beast or Time
That
Warp
was
or
Speed and
something?
Gun. Yeah, Speed and Gun, wasn't
It
it?
might have been
I'm pretty
somebody. I
sure.
think I think he got it, and like Beast was like, the only reason you beat it, you got a lucky armory or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not too sure. I think that's what happened.
yeah, and I mean, if you're playing something like solo, man, an armory just juices you so much compared to I mean, I guess co-op, but yeah, I mean, yeah, again, if it is a pattern, then I wouldn't be too upset about that. If it wasn't a pattern, then it's like whatever. So
Well,
it
Mm-hmm.
it really doesn't matter to me.
well, that goes part of the reason, if there is a pattern, like I mentioned earlier, like we mentioned earlier, is like it might make it too easy. Just think if you
Right.
could hit every bonus room and armory at
Yep.
will, you know, it,
Yeah, it's
it
pretty
goes.
boring if you're just like looking. It's
Uh,
as simple as like seeing arrows in the fate room of fate, like
I mean, of
480.
course it helps, like, I mean, obviously it helps, but it's just I like the way it is, and I hope it keeps it that way.
You don't want to be like, ooh, bam, second arrow. Let's go there. Bonus room,
Yeah.
just a little bit ridiculous. But
Yep.
we'll see what happens. Maybe they bring something else or something
Mm.
like that.
All right. And then anything else you guys want to add on that one?
Maybe they'll bring like some sort of round that you go there and it's like some sort of challenge round that you got to do something in like 30 seconds or something. Then you get rewarded,
Yeah.
like some
Maybe.
certain arcade games.
Yeah,
Well, that could be.
it's possible.
Yeah, maybe it's like an all-out blitz of zombies or something. You gotta like somehow, like I don't even know.
uh, I was looking, I don't mean to be off topic here, but I was looking at Bill Nips's YouTube the other day, and he was playing like this one arcade game, some cheap indie game, and it was actually it looked pretty fun actually. Like it was a total shit show. There was like giant spiders and stuff going after him after a while for some reason. It was just pretty insane. So that'd be kind of a cool thing for challenge round.
A challenge round sort of like that. Yeah. All right. Well, done with that one. Then the next one to talk about, which has to, I mean, it deals with challenge rounds, is the types of zombies we might be seeing.
Hmm.
In Black Ops 2, we didn't have any Nova crawlers, which were a big part of what DOA 1 was like. I guess it wasn't that big of a part, but crawlers. I mean, it was a pretty big part of the first DOA. Having to deal with them and the crawler around and whatnot, and just
Those.
wondering what you guys' thoughts and what possible challenge rounds there might be.
Hmm. I was gonna say those sneaky bastards actually did make their way into Black Ops 2 in a
Oh yeah,
partial
yeah, the
way
challenge
in
rounds
Die
in Die
Rise.
Rise. Yeah, yeah, I forgot about
They were
those.
in Nova
But
crawlers,
not the Novas though. Yeah,
but
yeah.
they would. Well,
Same same concept.
it's not like they leave their gas
Yeah,
behind or something on DOA.
yeah,
It's
that's true. They're kind of the
so I
same as
mean,
those.
yeah, you want different varieties of zombies. Of course, you don't want the same enemy.
Hmm.
Obviously, the more stuff they add, the better, I think.
Yeah.
And that's all right now, really, with that.
Anything you want to add, Frenzy?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess that like one thing, not necessarily for a challenge round, but like a zombie that would make, I guess, DOA a shitload more unpredictable and challenging is having the crawlers, but having them be the same ones on Moon where they teleport at you just randomly. So I mean, that would really, really screw you over in combination with the engineers falling from the sky at the same time and
Yeah,
dogs
good
coming
luck
on the
running four
map.
players.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that would make it a little more interesting. Maybe have it so that they can't attack you for like a few seconds or something, because crawlers usually were like kind of slow, but if they gave you at least like 2 seconds to react before they could like actually attack you, then maybe that would work or something. I don't really know how they would do that if they did, but that's just kind of a thought that I had
Mhm.
Hmm.
about that.
Yeah, be interesting. I guess
Yeah.
we'll just have to
Also,
wait and see.
I was gonna say it'd be pretty cool, like if mid round, like the cyber silverback sends his little brother Silverback Junior after you, and he starts
Yeah,
boosting at you mid round and stuff, and he's like a weaker version of the Silverback,
yeah,
kind of like
exactly.
Bowser and Bowser Junior. Like he just comes out of the sky and starts
Oh yeah, I
freaking.
remember. I can't remember if one of you guys mentioned it or if I was talking to someone else, but brought up the idea of maybe like the silverback coming in mid round. Just kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's what I was
change things up.
saying.
I think Frenzy,
Yeah,
you mentioned that or whatever. But
Hmm.
yeah, him coming in mid round and maybe even like stealing some gold like he does, or even I don't know if like maybe even boost at you, but maybe just come around for a bit. I mean, do you think? Do you think
I was
maybe
just
you
thinking
could
of
like?
something.
Oh, okay. You think maybe if like you somehow did injure him there, like if you shot him there, do you think it'd be interesting if like that damage carried over to when you got the boss round, or
Like
that would be.
do
I
you
don't
think
think
that
they'll
it just should
incorporate
be
that,
separate?
but if they did, I think it would just be exclusive to that round. I
Hmm.
don't think it's like an ongoing fight. Boss round is a boss round.
Yep.
Yeah, or if they had it set up so that the silverback, like whenever he comes on the map, like for a few or like probably 30 seconds or a minute or some shit, where if you maybe you could actually kill him if he's what was it, one of his brothers or something like that, a little
Hmm.
baby
Hmm.
silverback or something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
sort of
you
like a
kill him
cow,
Silverback
and then
and
Junior.
you get like gems like a
yeah, and then
cow.
you get gems. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with that. I mean, that would be pretty interesting if they, took one of those ideas and actually implemented it or whatever.
You listening, Dave?
But yeah, that would be pretty interesting though. Definitely
No,
mix
nothing
things up.
ridiculous, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it'd be cool.
Mm.
I was laughing before because you're just there chilling in the corner, like playing with one hand, and then he just lands on your ass, and you're like, oh no, the flawless is lost.
Yeah,
Mr. Flawless.
exactly.
So that's
Oh,
pretty
Mr. Flawless.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So all right, all
Brings
right.
us to our last topic.
We
Is
have a couple more, but they're similar.
but yeah, they're kind of similar. But
You want to introduce those topics, Frenzy?
Wait, what?
The PlayStation and Xbox One.
Okay, so for those of you guys that don't really know, I mean, this was sort of a thing with regular zombies, but mostly with Dead Ops Arcade, where there was sort of a rivalry amongst PS3 and Xbox 360 players on the original Dead Ops Arcade, where players would try to compete, and see like who would get what round on what console, and which players had the high score and stuff like that. Because just because you're number one on score for PS3, that doesn't mean that you're number one for score on Xbox and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, so on and so forth. So, I mean, I guess that in a way, like the rivalries and stuff definitely helped fuel people's desire and motivate them to keep playing and play better and stuff like that, so that they were you know just better, and maybe even got to those rounds faster and stuff. Me personally, I never really cared too much about this whole like rivalry thing, but there were a lot of PlayStation players, and I mean I guess there were a few Xbox players, but it was mostly the PlayStation guys that were trying to talk some smack and whatever, trying to make it sound like they were much better than the Xbox players and stuff like that.
mm,
And I don't know. I just thought that it was a little interesting. I mean, you could call it friendly competition, but I mean, it was a little more than that at the end of the day. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there'll be like a rivalry again, or do you think it's just not gonna really, it's not gonna really matter?
well, I think it's gonna be a little different because the way I feel like with DOA 2 coming out, we all pretty much know who's good and who's not, and like how different players play and whatnot. I mean, obviously besides like the newer players that are going to come up, but I don't think they're going to be much of a difference. The thing that I'm actually more interested about is there going to be differences, in the consoles, like the gameplay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I hope they're similar, but I mean, the way it was, like the 360 kind of like had its smoother gameplay. I mean, I didn't play PS3, but that's just what I
Right.
heard and whatnot. That it was
Definitely.
smoother, less frame rate, and
Yeah.
just a little bit
There's
less
different
bugs and
stuff as
whatnot.
well, other than the frame. Like there was gameplay related things for PlayStation as well. Like they had less rain on 96, and the four dog bites always on solo when you played on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there was things that for both ways that made it very weird.
hmm
Hopefully it's not like that.
Yeah, and
And
I was just like saying, I wonder if it's gonna be like the opposite now, where like Xbox, since
it's
PS4
shitty now.
obviously, yeah, since Call of Duty, went with PS4, that
Uh huh.
or PlayStation, that Xbox is kind of gonna get the shaft. I don't know.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's possible. I think they're both gonna be pretty good, but you never
hmm
know. Like there might be some obscure glitch with one that the other doesn't have.
Yep.
So we can't say for sure. But yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of the players who did have problems in terms of causing tension between the two consoles back in the day, I think a lot of them are past that at this point. They've matured a bit when it comes to it and
Mm.
realized what they said back then and how it was kind of ridiculous. And the other players just kind of stopped playing.
Right.
And as for new players coming in, I think they're probably gonna largely be ignored by people who are pretty good at the game already.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be too much conflict, but I wouldn't be surprised with some individuals on the
Yeah.
PlayStation. I'm not going to name names, but who they might start becoming. I don't know if jealous is the right word, but if somebody does something on Xbox, they might be a little upset.
Yeah.
Mm.
People I've noticed are always really, I don't know. It's kind of weird, like protective of their console. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yep.
I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to
Oh
me.
yeah.
It's like
The,
they gotta show their superior, like there's, like that their console's
That
better. Like,
the other
it,
day, my freaking history teacher was like, "PlayStation is better, man." It's like, what the hell? Teach a damn subject, you shitheel.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
One thing that I kind of found a little humorous about, like, 'cause I played both, so I obviously didn't give a rat's ass about like PlayStation versus Xbox. But I did always kind of funny that the PlayStation guys, they would always say like, "Oh, well, PlayStation's better than Xbox," whatever, and then it's like it 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 clearly just isn't. And then the tables would turn like instantly, and they'd go from, "Oh yeah, PlayStation's better than Xbox," to, "Oh well,
It's too easy.
yeah, it's too easy on Xbox and it's more difficult on
Yeah.
PlayStation," or something, and it's like,
I
okay,
have a really good
so
quote here from somebody. I need to find it. My favorite is, I need to name him because I need to quote him properly. My favorite is D Nuge 202. He was always talking about how Xbox was easier or whatever, and you could always just tell something was Xbox. And here he is on this No Fate 2 player 99 world record highlights video by Mr. Beast and I Am George. They did that on the PlayStation. And on the comment section, he says, I can't find it right now, but he's like, "Oh, I could just tell by the way you guys are playing that you're on the Xbox or something," when in fact they're on the
what?
PlayStation.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah,
recall the comment you're talking about.
yeah,
It's kind of humorous.
I had
typical.
to find this. This is pretty good.
That's pretty typical of, I mean, I guess zombie players in general, but it is always a
Uh,
little more humorous whenever it happens, to be a DOA player, where, zombie players and DOA players just love to just talk out of their ass and make it sound like they know like a little more than
mhm.
they actually do or
Mm.
something. So, yeah, I mean, that is like pretty funny, especially whenever, they make themselves like they just make such an obvious mistake like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
geez, man, like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. Like you even see like there's the little underscore on Beast's name in the beginning of the round, and
What?
he's like, he's like, I could tell this is Xbox, LOL. And then he says, something else. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then Beast is like, oh, this is actually PS3, LOL.
Oh no.
It's like, man, like, you're trying to say it's so easy to distinguish and, you can't even tell. It's like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
It can't be too bad then, right?
No,
But
pretty
that's
much.
sad.
Anything else to add? Any more
Uh,
things to talk about?
nope.
Any, let's have some final thoughts on it. So you think it's going to be good or something? What do you expect from it?
Uh, well, I mean, I hope that it's gonna be good. I'm definitely not gonna be playing it nearly as much as I used to,
Yeah.
with that Ops Arcade 1, but I'll definitely be, playing, and if I get that game out, or if I get the game before it comes out, then hopefully I'll be able to do some damage on solo and stuff, and then play a lot of co-op games and stuff like that. So I mean, you'll probably see me up on top of the leaderboards for PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, for co-op or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see myself playing it, nearly as much as I used to. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Um. Well, I just hope, obviously there's no way we're gonna get as much game time out of it. The second one, I mean, it's just impossible, with
Mhm.
all the, YouTube and Twitch. Like, we'll pretty much know how to play it and like probably
Right.
be pretty good within the first, couple weeks.
Yep.
I mean, if not, maybe it might be a couple months. I just hope we at least get like 6 months of game time out of it. Like people are still like competing for it like after at least 6 months. Still
Yeah.
having like fun and I don't know. We'll see. I'm just interested. Either way, it's gonna be interesting whether it's gonna be bad, what they're gonna take out, whatnot. I don't know. It's just all gonna be how much they change and see what Dave does, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, like any good sequel, you want it to be faithful as possible to the original, while also including new gameplay elements and features that make it more fun and challenging. I sound like a broken record here, but that's what you want. And do I think it's going to be like that? Possibly, but I really don't. I don't have too high of expectations because I don't really think it's going to be very good. I think in a matter of a couple weeks, it's going to really die down for uh,
Yeah.
players
Uh,
like
you
ourselves.
just broke Dave's heart, dude.
Well, he has a chance to fix it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Just yeah, so Dead Ops Arcade 1, I think the lifespan of it, it was really like at its peak around the time whenever Von Snowski, Dry Ice Burns, and FRTH got to round, and beat round 80. That
Hmm.
was in like February 2011, so that was what 3 months after the
Yeah.
game came out, something like that for Black Ops 1. Now, this one, I think, again, after about 3 months or something like that, people will probably be actually maxing out the game after like 3 weeks, maybe,
Hmm.
just because,
Yeah, it just all depends, but yeah.
yeah, I don't think that people are going to be, uh, just pounding out like, hey, I'm gonna set aside 4 days or something like that on my schedule
Hmm.
just to get to round 200 or something, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think that it will have a little bit of a lifespan for those that aren't exactly elite players for Dead Ops Arcade already, and especially for the people that used to play back in the day, that where their highest rounds might have been like 99 or something. They might come back and try to do some damage and make an appearance on that Ops Arcade too. So I mean that'll be really interesting. Hopefully they actually have
Hmm.
a DOA 3 for the DLC, but uh, I mean I really don't see that happening. But
Yeah.
that would be pretty awesome if they did. So yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
I would like DLCs, like like color DLCs. Like
Okay.
they add
To
these
have.
stupid things like camos for guns. It's like, come
Okay.
on,
Yeah.
what is this horse shit? Like,
Yeah.
give
All
me
right.
some supply drops with like teal blue as my character or
All
something.
right, yeah. I mean, that's definitely a plausible thing. I mean, that might even happen. Who knows? I mean, they have a lot of
Yeah, it might even happen in
microtransactions.
zombies.
Yeah,
It wouldn't surprise me.
I would not be surprised at all. Or what if maybe with the ranking system, apparently the ranking system helps you unlock like gun camos and stuff like
Hmm.
that for regular zombies. Maybe you'll unlock like a player color or
Hmm.
something, and
That'd be
instead
I
cool.
you'll.
mean, that'd be good. Definitely,
I
little
mean,
things like that would make it.
it might not even be colors for all we know. We might, hopefully
We
it's
might be
colors, but it
playing
might be
as
some.
Avenged Sevenfold band, as they sing,
Oh no.
whatever that means.
Hopefully not. But
Well, if, that'll that'll be the day.
that'll be the
Then I go back to DOA one.
day.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, we're playing DOA one in 2015. I just don't see us playing DOA two in 2020 kind of thing. It's
Well, no kidding.
we're gonna. Well, yeah, you say that, but the first game, they don't put a lot of time into it, and you get so much time out of it.
Well,
You,
this time
you,
we might put too much time.
this time he's overworking it, and it's just like, come on, Dave, just work 4 weeks on it, and it'll be better. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, Dave, if you're listening, just start right now. Just refresh.
Well, he knows he's leaving by now. He's like, shit, I'm getting the roast here. So.
Nah. Nah.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna try to appeal to the masses here. They're gonna because I mean, I mentioned this before. I don't know if Derek you agree, but DOA one wasn't very successful.
Mm.
People didn't like it, so they're gonna obviously try to do something else to make it more appealing to people. And whether that's whatever, they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
They're gonna, I think their philosophy is the more the merrier. So they're gonna add a lot of features to it. They probably put more than 4 weeks into it. They probably have other people helping Dave make it. I'm sure he had other people helping him
Oh yeah, and the first one too,
before, but I think
obviously.
it's a much larger project with
Mhm.
more control with other people in Treyarch.
Yeah.
Creative control, that is.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So obviously, I hope it's good. I want to, get some good games and enjoyment out of it. Obviously, I'm not hoping for a bad game, but I just, I don't see it living up as a good sequel.
Right. Yeah, definitely. The players are just far too good now, and I mean, same thing can be said about regular zombies as well. Like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's not really necessarily, I guess, their fault. I guess that it's just the fact that we've just put so many hours into the game. It's kind of just
That's
gonna be
it exposes
expected.
the game kind of. It's
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, in a way.
Mm.
Do we have any other topics that we wanted to discuss, or is that pretty
I
much it?
think that's it. Isn't it?
that about wraps it up.
All right. Well, again, I was joined here with QP Derek and Rambo for Life. And I don't know, do you guys any Or do you guys have any last words before we just end it?
Mm, no, not really.
All right.
So,
Well,
looking forward to
I
Black Ops 3.
I have a little something to say.
all
I
right.
have a short anecdote. No, I
Okay.
don't, but I have a little something to say. Well, like Derek, I'm looking forward to Black Ops 3 and DOA 2. I hope it's very good. And also a little side note for Dave, if he's still watching on Twitter, I'm Rambo Christian, so that's why you're getting a little attacked on this podcast.
All right. Well, yep. Huge shout out to Dave King for making Dead Ops Arcade 1 and Dead Ops Arcade 2. Uh, hopefully, the game will be great and, similar to the last one. And again, I am also looking forward to Black Ops 3. And I'm the Frenzy, and I'm out. Catch you guys later.